Okay folks, this is gonna be a big one. This will be me giving my thoughts on Street Fighter 6 versus Mortal Kombat 1 versus Tekken 8. Now, we're gonna keep it real here, people, no bullshit. I was actually supposed to do this video like maybe 2 months ago, but oh my goodness, how things change in the space of 2 months. Hell, 3 months. Sometimes you gotta laugh at this community. Everyone flip-flopping, wave riding. The herd and sheep mentality is unreal, but you're gonna get the truth here today. The 3 big dogs. All 3 franchises we grew up on, and we're gonna break this down into 6 categories. First one, gameplay. Best story. Best single player mode, aka best side game. Best graphics. Best soundtrack, and which game is the best overall. Let's get it, and no bias bullshit, the truth. Let's start with gameplay. Now when it comes to a fighting game, the gameplay is the core. The game can have all these other things, but if the gameplay plays like Shaq Fu, ain't nobody checking for the game. Now all 3 of these games introduced new mechanics. Street Fighter 6, you had the drive mechanic. Mortal Kombat 1, you had the cameo system. Tekken, you had the heat system. And funny enough, you had people complaining from each game about each of the new systems. You had some Street Fighter players saying that the drive system makes it easy for noobs. The cameo system, people said it was too much, too chaotic. And the heat system, as you see now, you hear people saying it's brain dead, it's for noobs, all this kind of bullshit. But yeah, which game is better? For me, drumroll please, I am going to give category 1 to Tekken 8. Why Tekken 8? I just always preferred that style. And there's more to Tekken than there is to Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat. The characters have more moves, there's more depth to it, there's a lot more going on in these matches. And it just seems more rewarding. It takes a long time to master a character in Tekken, and even when you master the character, you're learning new things all the time. So yeah, I think it's a more exciting game, there's more to it, and overall just a better game at its core. And I don't just think Tekken 8 is better than Street Fighter 6 and Mortal Kombat 1. I think Tekken in general is a better fighting game than Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat. I always thought that way, and it hasn't changed. Now, of course, you got everyone ragging on the game. Oh, it's a mash fest, it's not fun. Guess what? I don't feel that way. And one thing you're gonna learn from this video, which you should have already known, that I stand on my opinion. I am not a sheep. Just because someone tweets something doesn't mean I need to believe it. I believe Tekken 8 is a fun game, gameplay wise. When I play unranked, when I play in players matches, I'm having fun. I don't know what the rest of y'all are doing, I'm having fun. And I'd much rather play Tekken ranked than Kombat League or the Street Fighters ranked. Yes, the game has a couple of balancing issues, and the ranked is kinda toxic, but so are all 3 games. And I don't know if you played Tekken when it was first released. Golly. Every couple of matches there were rage quitters. Now that has been cut like about 80%. Now I go online, it is now a rarity. So yeah, it is improving. When Tekken 8 was released on the day, I said the gameplay was awesome. 3 months later, I stick to my opinion. Okay, I stand on my shit. And you're gonna see that all throughout this video. Now let's talk about the story mode. Now, back in the day of your Street Fighter 2 or Mortal Kombat 1, no one were checking for story mode, only the diehards. All throughout this time, if people wanted to know what was going on in the story, they had to dig up the friggin' manuals. And not a lot of people were doing that. And you got games like Deception, awesome story modes, but the story mode in fighting games didn't take off until MK9. Now don't get me wrong, of course a lot of other fighting games had good story modes, but they didn't hit like MK9. A full campaign, the shit was almost like a movie. Everyone stood up and looked at fighting games differently after that. And now everyone was checking for a story mode in a fighting game. A full-blown story mode. So which game has the better story mode out of Street Fighter 6, MK1 and Tekken 8? Well, first of all, Street Fighter is out of the picture because this time around they didn't produce a full campaign like they did in Street Fighter 5. So they are out of the loop straight away. Instead, they went for arcade endings, which are not cutting it in this day and age. You have Ken and JP, who arguably have the best story going on in Street Fighter 6 right now. And if you look at Ken's ending, the shit was poor. They're out of the picture. So this is between Tekken 8 and Mortal Kombat 1. Which game has the better story? And this is where I actually start to cringe in this video. This is where I realize that this community is all over the place. Now the answer should be straightforward, but because of the bias and sheep mentality, this now becomes somewhat of a debate. Are we being for real here? Oh, don't worry. I'll be the one to explain it. I'm the lore guy, right? So you're gonna find something interesting here. Alright, let's go with Tekken. Now, if you are a Jin main, my god, you were jumping for joy, you were rejoicing. We saw your boy Jin get pushed to the moon. We saw the guy get his ass kicked, get propped up by every cast member. Oh, Jin, you're the only one that can beat him. We ain't shit. And Jin did his thing. We saw the guy lose his power, gain back his power, get his power from his mom, and then defeat the bad guy and save the day. Jin finished his story. He was out here looking like Cody Rhodes. But just one question. What about everyone else's story? I'm gonna let that marinate. I'm assuming we have a lot of wrestling fans on this channel. Y'all all saw WrestleMania, right? Let me ask you a couple of questions. Would Cody Rhodes' story be as good if The Rock didn't interfere? If The Undertaker didn't interfere? If John Cena, if there were no interferences in that match and the rest of the WrestleMania card was shit, would that WrestleMania be regarded as one of the best WrestleManias ever? Are you getting my point here or what? Let me give you another one. You're not gonna win an Oscar for Movie of the Year if only one actor killed it. You need to have a good supporting cast, interesting stories going on in between. Okay, that's how you're gonna get Movie of the Year. One guy acting good is not gonna cut it. Now, the main reason we, as players, play these story modes are to see our character obviously look like a badass, have interesting stories and character development. We all can agree on that, right? Alright, cool. So now I'm gonna ask you guys a series of questions and answer them as I ask you. This is going to be one of the most interactive videos ever because I'm going to be asking you guys a ton of questions. But hey, so if we want an interesting story and character development, let me ask you this question. Who had the more interesting story and better character development? Baraka or Paul? Right now, everyone watching the video started laughing their ass off. Ken, what are you saying? Okay, cool, I'm messing with you, right? Let me give you another one. Who had the more interesting story? Baraka or Law? Everyone right now is still laughing like, wow. Let me stop playing with you. Let's come with the real. Who had the more interesting story and better character development? Baraka or Paul, Law, Lee, Jack, Brian Fury, Steve Fox combined? Oh yeah, oh shit. That part. Who had the more interesting story? Who had better character development? Ashra or Oscar? Again, let me stop wasting your time. Let's get straight to it. Every single person watching this video now, who had the more interesting story and better character development? Ashra or Oscar? Lily, Nina, Alisa combined. Yeah. Oh dear. Oh dear. Now, maybe some of y'all got lost in the sauce, lost on the hype train, or lost on the wave, but I hate to be the one to break it to you. The Mortal Kombat 1 story is better than the Tekken 8 story simply because 95% of the Tekken cast underperformed. 95% of the Tekken cast were underdeveloped at zero character progression, whereas multiple characters in Mortal Kombat 1 progressed. What are we doing here? Something that is clear as day, and here's a joke about all of this. When Mortal Kombat 1 was released and everyone played the story, everyone and their mom, this story is amazing. The only complaint most people had is they didn't like the ending. But for the most part, everyone, every Mortal Kombat creator, every lore head was telling you this story was awesome. So now 6 months later or however long, why is the story now shit when the story didn't change? Was the story desyncing within these last 6 months? Did the story get patched out? Of course not. Everyone's perception has changed because now people are shitting on the game and people are going with the crowd. People are now backtracking. No one stands on business. No one stands on their word. Why would I, someone who played the game 8 months ago and acknowledged that I didn't like the ending and I wanted Onaga to be the boss, then praise the rest of the game for the character developments of someone like a Baraka, Reptile, Ashra, the best version of Kenshi, best version of Johnny Cage. Raiden was awesome in this. We even got the good Sindel, something fans have been crying for years. Why am I now, 8 months later, gonna turn around and say the story mode is shit? To pander to everyone else shitting on the game now? I am not a sheep. I don't have a shepherd. I speak my mind and I stick to my word. Why would I flip-flop? But don't worry, I got you. I'll break it down for you. Let's give you another example. Li Mei, right? We can all admit Li Mei is like what? A D, C level. Not even C level, D level Mortal Kombat character. Li Mei is not in the top 30 Mortal Kombat characters. We can all agree on that, right? Let's talk about Li Mei's run in Mortal Kombat 1. We first see Li Mei, Melina approaches her and cuts her down. Talks to her like she's trash, and we know that from her voice tone and the facial expressions. There is a problem. There is a story going on here. Liu Kang somewhat explains. We then see Li Mei being talked down to by Sindel. Li Mei has a chance to somewhat redeem herself here in front of Sindel, but loses. And after the fight, we can visually see her upset, head held down, walked off, embarrassed. All throughout the game, Li Mei is being bodied and talked down to. It now comes to her chapter. After a heartfelt speech, Li Mei claps Tonya, gets into the throne room, kicks ass, saves Queen Sindel from her own daughter Melina. Sindel now acknowledges Li Mei and forgives her. That is what you call an actual good story and character development. Okay, now I will ask you this question. Who had the better story? Who had better character development? Li Mei or Nina and King combined? Let me tell you one that will shock you. Who had a better story and better character development? Li Mei or freaking Jun Kazama? Someone the entire Tekken fan base was waiting for to kick ass for over 30 years. She was in the story for like 30 seconds. Someone like a Baraka, a Li Mei, and Ashra had better development than Jun Kazama. That is crazy to me. Like, in what world could you think the Tekken 8 story was better? Did you get a different copy of Tekken 8 and did I get a different copy of Mortal Kombat 1? And let me say this, even if you are one of those people who didn't like the ending, you know, into this DC multiverse bullshit, I hear you. I didn't like the ending. In fact, I wanted Onaga to be the boss, so I hear you on that. But guess what? Both games had 15 chapters. Those were the last 3 chapters. So even if you give the last 3 chapters to Tekken, which you probably should, the first 12 chapters, which is practically 80% of the game, goes to Mortal Kombat because they had better storytelling, more exciting stories, and better character development. That is a fact. That would make it 12-3. If I am playing you in the first to 15 and I beat you 12-3, I washed you. That wasn't close, that's not debatable. So if this DC multiverse bullshit was the main reason you think Tekken 8 story is better than the Mortal Kombat 1 story, it fails, my guy. Because the first 12 chapters, which is the majority of the game, clears Tekken 8. There is literally no way around it. You can try to worm your way around and make excuses. It doesn't work. You're talking to someone who actually knows the lore of both games. And while I think Tekken 8 is a massive improvement story-wise over Tekken 7, there were a lot of problems there. Just don't be biased, be real, call it down the middle. And it doesn't take an expert to tell you that while a character like Jin or Reina got over, the majority of the rest of the cast underperformed, bro. Someone like Asuka, a character that's been useless for over 20 years, zero progression. Legacy characters like King and Nina wasted, zero progression. Tell me when I am lying. Now, did every single character in Mortal Kombat kill it? Did they all blow it out of the park? No. I think certain characters flopped. For me, I think Natara flopped. I think Megan Fox buried that broad. That voice acting was diabolical. Someone like Havoc was running around with Dairu's name with Darius' story. And someone like Rain, I think they could have done a better job with Rain. But even someone like Rain, a jobber, still had more detail put into his story. This guy Rain flooded an entire city and then had regrets about it. So now Rain is on a redemption arc to redeem himself. And we know this through the intro dialogues with other characters. He has a burden. He wants forgiveness. That is actual character development. So when someone like Rain has a better story than Paul and Law combined, there isn't a debate. And all their endings are canon and kept. This isn't like MK11 where they slipped up, because in the ending, in MK11, you saw Baraka get into a position of power, Kitana becoming Khan, but by the end of the game, Kronika killed them all and everything was erased, so Baraka's progression, Kitana's progression was wasted. This time around, that's not the case. In MK1 now, Liu Kang simply erases Shang Tsung's timeline. The other characters weren't touched, so Baraka kept his development. Reptile kept its development. Ashra kept her development. Everyone kept their development and it progressed in their character endings, where you see now Reptile in a position of power. Baraka and Reptile meeting up being buddies. We see Li Mei get back into position. We saw what happened with Tonya. Again, there's no way around it. These are all canon, so the ending didn't affect none of them. So whatever excuse you were trying to rely on, it doesn't work. And let's just be honest, here's the true facts. In order for Tekken to ever catch up to Mortal Kombat in terms of story, they need to develop the other characters. They need to put the same effort into the other characters that they do with the Mishimas. Otherwise, no one's gonna care when they come on screen. Don't you get it? Someone like Leo is uninteresting. So when he appeared on screen with Jin, no one gave a shit. Ain't no one checking for no Leo. His character's dead. And we had a cool moment with Claudio, but you know what would have made this more impactful? If there was a build to it. If we got to know Claudio, Duda sacrificed himself and that was it. It didn't hit as hard as it could. Tell me when I am lying. Which scenes hit harder? Everyone trying to defeat Devil Kazuya and getting clapped, or everyone trying to defeat Ermac and then Kenshi finally got his powers and with Ashra defeated Ermac? Again, which scene hits harder? Zafina dying in front of Jin, allegedly, so we thought, or Sindel dying in front of King Jared and her daughters? Again, the answer is obvious. And like I said, don't get twisted, I thought Tekken 8 was a much better story than Tekken 7. I think it was a massive improvement. But it has still got a long way to go. But now that the majority of the Mishima stuff is over, well, so we think now all the characters can have a chance to breathe. And that's what the Tekken story has been missing all along. Other characters getting important roles and development. This is why I'm looking forward to the story expansion. I just hope to God Jun Kazama gets a story. Cause that was ridiculous. Jun Kazama needs a chapter in the DLC, 100%. She can't be a NPC, just come on screen for 10 seconds. She needs a chapter. Namco, sort Jun out. Obviously Eddie's gonna come out of that looking better and the DLC characters. So yeah, things are looking up story-wise. But as far as it goes between these two games, which story was better? It is clearly MK1. All you have to do is drop your bias, get off the bandwagon and think for yourself. Compare all the characters together, compare their developments, compare the chapter endings, and compare all the chapters and you will get your answer. All it was is that everyone was shitting on MK while jumping on the Tekken bandwagon. Now 3 months later, everyone is shitting on Tekken. Now, according to the crowd, according to the herd, now Tekken is a shit game. This is why you can't listen to all this bullshit. You have to think for yourself, because everyone flip-flops. Stand on your opinion and you'll have the answer. Moving on. Best single player mode. Now of course these are always a welcome addition. When you get tired of playing the main game, something to do. Of course back in the day you had stuff like Tekken Force Mode, Tekken Ball. You know, Mortal Kombat had chess combat, puzzle combat, and the legendary Conquest. Fire modes, motor combat, another Conquest mode. All things that players enjoy and it takes you away from the main game. And of course another reason for this is if you're getting your ass kicked online or you don't want to deal with these sweaty players, you can go off and have fun with the game without dealing with all that mess. So when it comes to the best single player mode out of Street Fighter 6, Mortal Kombat 1, Tekken 8, which game takes it? Let's break it down. Let's start with MK. Now MK went with Mortal Kombat Invasions. Mortal Kombat Deception, that Conquest mode was fire. In Mortal Kombat 11 they gave us the Crypt. This was actually quite good, being able to explore the Mortal Kombat universe, running around, solving puzzles. It was cool. However, what we got in Mortal Kombat 1 was neither of these things. Instead they went for a top-down kind of board game where you run around the map fighting various opponents. And I can tell you this right now, after you complete one season, not even one season, one Mesa in Mortal Kombat, the reality sets in that this is not it. The reality is it gets boring way too quick and you almost feel like you're literally just playing through it just to play through it. It is a grind fest and the rewards aren't that great. So in terms of a good single player mode, I am sorry, Invasions didn't pull it off, it didn't cut it. Invasions was probably the most disappointing thing about this game, because many people were looking forward to maybe a Conquest mode or an updated Crypt. And yes, neither things were delivered. And this, I just think this method, the top-down board type game, I don't think it worked. And again, they are trying to improve it. I played the recent one where you have Kung Lao destroying stuff with his hat. They're trying to add new things in between, but just the method of it, the layout of it, it's not working. It's just not interested. So Mortal Kombat is already out of the race for best single player mode. Invasions ain't it. Moving on to Tekken 8. Now, what were their options? Of course, you see a lot of single player modes there, but only 2 of them count. Like Tekken Ghost Battle is just you facing the AI. That's not a side game. The side games are Arcade Quest and Tekken Ball. Now, Arcade Quest, in case you didn't know, is a throwback to Virtual Fighter's Quest mode. and Virtual Fighters Quest mode is better. This mode right here is basically just to appeal to the newcomers, show beginners out to play the game. So if you're a vet, you're probably not even gonna touch this. Again, we know why it's there. It's just there. It's mid. Nothing special, but we know why it's there. Now, of course, you have Tekken Ball, and this is here for nostalgia. The Tekken 3 mode that everyone wanted back, and again, it is what you see. Again, a throwaway mode, just a fun mode. Put it this way, you're not gonna come from the gym or work and bang on Tekken Ball for 2 hours. It's just there to play around. So yeah, and my stats speak for itself. I've now played Tekken for over 500 hours, and I've touched Tekken Ball twice. And I haven't even bothered to finish the arcade quest mode. So yeah, in actual reality, neither Tekken or Mortal Kombat delivered on a solid side game. Of course, we know Tekken has Tekken Force mode in the chamber. But for right now, the door is wide open for Street Fighter. On to Street Fighter 6. Now, Street Fighter 6 hits us with Street Fighter World Tour as their single player mode. And I can easily tell you, Street Fighter World Tour clears Mortal Kombat Invasions, clears Tekken Arcade Quest easily. Just look at it this way. If you're a fighting game fan, this is a dream for you. Running around in the Capcom universe, Final Fight universe, Street Fighter universe, talking to your favorite Street Fighter characters, being trained by them. You're able to create your own character. There's a ton load of activities, do their moves, you're running around doing fireballs, hurricane kicks. Come on, it is night and day. Easily this goes to Street Fighter. You're even running into characters like Retsu, old Final Fight characters, bosses. Like, look at this. I created Jeffrey McWild from Virtual Fighter, and I'm running around in a Street Fighter universe kicking ass. There is no actual debate here. Street Fighter World Tour clears. In fact, I'd probably say Street Fighter World Tour is better than Mortal Kombat Invasions, Arcade Quest, and Tekken Ball combined. The point goes to Street Fighter. Now on to graphics. Now when it comes to a video game, any game in general, a game can have the best gameplay in the world, a ton of the options, but if the game looks like shit, you're probably not gonna wanna stick around. Luckily for all of y'all, I think all 3 games blew it out the park. Okay? And because all 3 games are going with 3 different styles, we're gonna have to give a point to each game, because each game killed it, I think. I think Street Fighter 6 is a massive improvement over Street Fighter 5, especially in terms of models and visuals. Tekken looks awesome, especially when you see the heat smashes, the rage arts. The game looks awesome. And let's talk about Mortal Kombat 1. You can argue this was one of the best things about the game, the graphics. They look amazing, especially in the story mode. When they zoom in, you can see the sweat on these guys' faces, their facial expressions, their wrinkles, everything. They blew it out the park in terms of graphics. Hold on, wait a minute. Hey, the herd, the crowd. Am I allowed to pay Mortal Kombat one more compliment? Am I allowed to give Mortal Kombat a compliment for his graphics? Is that allowed, crowd? Am I gonna get any brownie points added or deducted? Oh man. But yeah, all 3 games blew it out of the park, and I think we all can agree that all 3 fighting games look amazing. So we're going into the last 2 categories with all 3 games on 2 points each. The suspension. Who's gonna take it? Best soundtrack. Which of these 3 fighting games has the best music? Now, of course, when it comes to a fighting game or video games in general, music is actually vital. And if you don't think so, simply turn off the music when you're having a match and see how dead the match feels. Some of these tracks enhance the game. And you're dealing with Street Fighter, a game that has been known for classic tracks that we all know and love. Mortal Kombat back in the day, fire tracks. Tekken, awesome soundtracks. So this time around, which game takes it? Okay, let's start off with Street Fighter 6, and I'm gonna be 100% with you. I actually think the Street Fighter 6 soundtrack is actually mid. And I think I said something like this the last time when some Street Fighter fan got on me and said, "Dog, you're tripping. They're bangers." I mean, if you feel that way, if you feel like the Street Fighter selection theme, that guy was killing it with the flow and dropping crazy bars, more power to you. But just not to me. I just think the older soundtracks were better. And you might say, Den, what are you looking for? Club bangers? Well, no, because the last time I went to the club, all I was hearing was Sexy Red and Ice Spice. So no, not that kind of bangers. Just improve the music. And again, don't get it twisted. I'm not saying the soundtrack is shit. I just think the level has dropped. There's no, or for example, right, Street Fighter 3, there's no Dudley type theme here. There's no Helena beats in the head right here. There's no, hell, Street Fighter EX plus Alpha. Those were bangers. I remember all of those soundtracks. And I could tell you this right now. If you were to play a theme of Street Fighter EX plus Alpha, I would tell you who it belonged to and what stage it was. You know why? Because they were memorable. That shit is engraved in my memory. So yeah, I do not think the latest Street Fighter soundtrack is on par with like Street Fighter 3 or even EX plus Alpha. My preference. Again, music is subjective, right? Let's talk about Mortal Kombat, and I'll be real again. I don't think Mortal Kombat has had a banging soundtrack since MK9. And again, let's get this clear. I don't think they are shit, they're just not memorable. I do not remember one track from MKX, MK11 or MK1. I can't remember them. They're not standing out. Do you get where I'm coming from? There's no catchy Deadly Alliance theme. Gone are the days of old school bangers like The Rooftop, The Pit 2, The Streets, The Courtyard. Come on. You know the music ain't hitting like that anymore. Instead, now it just feels like insert generic stock music here. Insert generic action music here. And again, that's just how I feel. And if I've missed a couple of bangers, enlighten me, because I can't remember anything from any of these games. MKX, MK11 or MK1. And again, this is not like a deal breaker, like, oh shit, I don't want to play this sounds terrible. I'd just rather it sound better. That's all. Now on to Tekken 8, and you probably know my stance here. I think the Tekken 8 soundtrack has banger after banger after banger. It clears. Is there even a bad track in this game? Actually, there is. That Ortiz Farm shit sounds goofy as hell. So I'll do you a favor. Go to the jukebox, go to Tekken 5 Dark Resurrection, choose the Estrada track, or if not, choose Tekken 2 Jun's theme. You can thank me later. But yeah, moving on. The Tekken 8 soundtrack clears. It has banger after banger, and the music suits the stage. Again, when Jin was fighting Kazuyo in the last chapter, if you turn off the music, that doesn't hit. The music was everything. So yeah, Tekken 8 got this hands down. Now, why could this even be called a stomp instead of a clear? Because Tekken 8 has the jukebox. This jukebox feature is game changing. If you hated all the tracks in Tekken 8, it wouldn't matter. You have the choice to choose from the entire catalog of bangers. For that reason, it's a stomp. Tekken double clears. And I've said this before and I'll say it again. Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat need a jukebox included, because clearly you're not producing bangers like you used to. So allow people to choose from the bangers you already have made, because you've both got a great body of work. Imagine playing Street Fighter 6 with the Street Fighter 3 soundtrack. Imagine playing Mortal Kombat 1 with the Mortal Kombat 3 soundtrack or the Mortal Kombat 9 soundtrack. You can't tell me I'm not spitting facts here. Obviously there might be some licensing issues, but sort it out is actually worth it. So yes, Tekken takes it. That's now 3 points with one category left. The other two are on 2 points. They can either draw or Tekken wins. Drum roll please. Which is the best game overall? And I am gonna have to go with Tekken 8 for the simple fact that at its core, Tekken is a better game gameplay wise, and that's actually the most important thing. That is what keeps you coming back, and it's a very addictive game. See if you can relate. You can be playing on ranked 1 minute, and the next thing you know, you look at the clock, you've wasted like an hour and a half. You didn't even realize it. The game is actually very addictive and fun. I don't care what anyone says. It is fun to me. And let me just address this. You had the two best players in the world critique the game. You had Arson and Ash said the game's for mashers, straight up. Nee said the game's not fun. But guess what? That is their perspective. They are looking at the game from a different angle. They are trying to make history by winning Evo and earn a living off the game, while you and me are just trying to play the game in a player's match or play ranked. We have different perspectives. The problem with some of y'all, they're trying to live through other people. Everyone else's problems aren't yours. And literally, not even days later, these two backtracked. They were out here apologizing quicker than J. Cole. So yeah. Let me tell you all something, everyone watching this video now. If you bought the game, it's up to you whether you want to play it or not. It's up to you whether it's fun or not. You spent your money, so you make the decision. Y'all need to stop just running with what everyone else says and think for yourself. Now, are any of these three games perfect? Nope. All three have problems. In fact, all three have microtransaction problems. A tonload of greed here. But I guess that's just now modern gaming in general. But I say this, if all games are tweaked to their core, patched out to the max, I still think Tekken comes out on top. You add in your team mode, your Tekken Force mode, the tournament mode, it's a wrap. The right DLC characters, and again, I'm expecting a Virtua Fire character. I would like to see Bruce. Don't know if he's coming or not, but either way, I'll still be playing the game. And if you ask me this question 6 months from now, which is the best game, I'll probably have the same answer, because as you know, I stand on my opinion, people, and that's it.